Hi everybody, this is Jonathan Tran
Hello everyone, this is Frank.
from Paramic Financial Services with the Paramic Hour, and we are back with episode 3 of Life Insurance
Yes.
Awareness Month. And my favorite month, September, because it's my birthday.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again because it's coming up within 11 days. No, 12 days, sorry. No, 11 days, I'm right. Because my kid last night, she asked me, Daddy, when's your birthday? I'm like, why? And she's like, because,
She
you
gonna
know,
get
what
you
kind of
something.
cake do you like, Daddy?
Aw.
What kind of, what do you want? What kind of character do you want on your cake? I'm like, character? What character are you talking about? She's like, you want Mickey Mouse? You want dinosaur? What you want on your cake?
I want Daisy,
She's already planning out my birthday, so sweet of her.
which is a reminder to Phoebe.
Oh yeah, Phoebe.
I also want a character on my birthday cake.
Dang, Frank.
Well,
See,
no,
the
it's
other
no
day, Frank, I mean, I was looking at like a new watch, and I was like,
I had a
telling
new
my wife,
watch.
I say, okay, honey, I don't think, I don't need a Rolex, but you know, I know the new Apple 7 watch is coming out soon. You know, it
Well-
looks pretty cool, and I still have my old watch from, 15 years ago.
Well, John, the new
And,
iPhone just came out too.
Frank has a new watch, and he has an Apple Watch too. This guy, he's balling. What is next?
Maybe more. You never know.
Yeah. So, but it's okay, and we do what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and if our loved ones come through with something nice, thank you. But let's see, who do we have today? So far, probably your mom's there, but she hasn't said anything yet.
Mom's always there.
Yeah, my
Mhm.
mom too, but everybody's been busy. So yes, before we get started today, if you are in the live stream, please share or please text it to anybody, your friends and family. This month is Life Insurance Awareness Month, and so we want to create some more awareness around life insurance, dispel any myths, get a lot of information out to you guys so that you understand a little bit more about what life insurance is, why we buy life insurance, the different types of life insurance. And we go into like little more topics. The last live stream we talked about women and young people with life
Yes.
insurance. So today we're going to talk about cheap life insurance, right? Because a lot of times people are like, hey, I don't got the budget for buying expensive life insurance. I just want something that's very cheap
Well, I would say
Right?
affordable too.
or affordable, right? Because when you say cheap, you may have like cheap quality, right?
Yes.
So we want affordable but still good quality, right? Frank?
Correct.
So let's correct myself. Affordable life insurance. And so the two most affordable types of life insurance out there right now are the term life insurance and the final expense.
Yes.
And so we will talk more about that. But before we do so, as we always do, we're going to go in with a little bit of news. And so, Frank, I know this is your favorite part of the show because it's your chance to do your news piece. So go ahead, my friend.
Hey, thank you, John. Okay, so we just had one news today, which is the child tax credit. So this morning I read the news, and there has been an agreement between the House and the Senate. They will extend the child tax credit to 2025. At first, they were having talks back and forth between so whether should we extend to 2024 or 2025. And as of this morning, when I read the news, they reached the agreement to extend it to 2025. So you can expect to keep receiving the child tax credit on a monthly basis or like a grant sum when you do your taxes. So that's my news for today. And also, it has not been finalized yet because if they pass it, I think they're gonna pass it along with the human and the infrastructure bill, and they try to pass this $3.5 trillion bill. So let's see what's gonna happen in the next couple days.
Awesome. So, Frank, you stole my news.
Oh,
But
sorry.
it's all good. I'm going to share a video on YouTube from the IRS itself about who gets this advance that Frank is talking about. And then we've showed this before, but then I'll talk about it again because everybody likes money. Everybody's texting me about this credit. Like, John, how do I get this credit? How come I haven't received it yet? If you haven't received it yet, most likely what you can do is you can go onto the IRS website like I posted here, and then you can enter your information. It's very easy, and you can have them direct deposit the monies directly to you. Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're going to send you a check, or if they don't send you anything at all, then you can claim it on your taxes at the end of the year. So either way, if you have any questions or concerns about this, you can always give us a call at the office here or shoot a message to us, and we'll be happy to help you guys with that. Okay, it's very easy to do, not too hard at all. But yes, Frank, that's very good news. More money to help us support our children. So those of you who are wondering how you qualify, just watch the video. It's very simple, right? And
or go make a baby.
Tell you exactly how to. Huh?
No. Just keep going.
Oh, Frank says have baby.
Yes,
so,
that's how you get your money. Go make a baby.
If you have a child this year, you still can qualify. You just go onto the IRS website, type in the information, and just let the IRS know that your household now has a new child, and then they'll send you the funds based on the new child. Right?
Yes.
So you can still do that. Yeah. So don't lose out on the advanced child credit. If you need it now, go on the website to apply so that you can get direct deposit to you. Otherwise, you can, if you don't need it, you're not receiving it yet, you can just wait till the end of the year and you can claim it on your taxes. Okay? So other than that, any other news, Frank?
That's my news for today.
Okay, so let's get right into our topic today. So, to honor Life Insurance Awareness Month, we talked a lot about, why we show what is life insurance, right? And to reiterate what life insurance is basically an insurance contract between you and the insurance company. As long as you pay premiums to them based on, your contract, they will promise to pay a benefit to your family when you pass away. So that's a very traditional way of how life insurance works, but life insurance, much like a cell phone, has evolved over time, right? Like before we had the Nokia phone, like my mentor, he always makes this analogy, is that the Nokia phone before only makes phone calls. It doesn't do much text, or it may do like the number texting, but it doesn't do much, right? Now, the new phone of the future, we can call on it, we can text on it, we can use it like a computer, we can take pictures with it, we can listen to music with it, we can pretty much do everything with our cell phone, right? Now, life insurance kind of like not as robust as that yet, but life insurance is always evolving as well. Traditionally in the past, when you buy life insurance, when you pass away, they will pay to your family. There's no benefits other than that. Nowadays, life insurance may have things called like living benefits, where you can use the life insurance while you're still alive.
Yes.
Maybe you're critically ill, or you're chronically ill, meaning that you cannot take care of yourself, or you're terminally ill, you can access the living benefits of the life insurance.
Yes.
There are also like riders that can be added on to your life insurance, such as long-term care, which lets you access a percentage of your death benefit before you pass away if you become seriously ill, right? And so we talked about these in the live streams before. We also have a YouTube channel if you guys want to go out and check out specifics on what we're talking about and more in detail, or if you're a visual type of person, you go watch our videos. We try our best to give you guys some good visuals of how these life insurance with all these benefits work. So, nowadays you want a life insurance that can at least do three things. If you die too soon, they're going to pay. If you live too long, maybe there's some cash value in there depending on the type of policy you have that can help you get some supplemental income in the future. And three, if you become chronically ill or disabled, like seriously ill, that you can access the money too before you pass away, right? So life insurance has really evolved over time. But sometimes some of these life insurances, people may say, oh, it may be too expensive and I can't afford it, right? So we want something more affordable, like Frank said. And so that's why we have this topic today, is that we want to talk a little bit more about the term life insurance and the final expense life insurances. Much easier to get approved for,
yes,
and much lower costs, and could have very good benefits depending on what you're looking for.
Yes.
Right? And so, to remind you guys too, is now that you know a reminder about what life insurance is, why do we buy life insurance? Frank, do you remember the top reasons why people buy life insurance?
I do remember the top 5 reasons. The top one was for the final expense, for wealth transfer, to replace income, to pay off the mortgage. And then there was another reason I'm trying to think on the top of my head. Do you remember, John? Let me go back.
I'm letting Frank.
Retirement supplement.
Yes. Right. So life insurance, why we buy it, you have to have the why, right? If you don't have the why, you're not going to keep your life insurance. So when you go to buy your life insurance, you got to ask the question, why am I buying this life insurance? What do I need it for, right? Who am I buying it for? And then when you have that why, make sure you hold on to that why, because the reason why you're buying it, those people are counting on you,
Yes.
right? And so it doesn't matter, you don't need to spend a lot of money on it. You just need to spend whatever is within your budget to protect your family, right?
Yes.
So that's why we want to educate you guys today more about the different types of life insurances. And so that way you guys kind of understand, what the choices are out there so that we can better protect our family and better help our family so that we have peace of mind when we go to sleep every night.
Yes.
So life insurance, definitely needed because people die every day, right? And you what is that you say? You don't know when you're going to pass away,
yes.
right? And so when you're born, but you don't know when you're going to pass away. And so that's the thing about life insurance is that you got to hedge against that, right? So let's talk about final expense and term. So Frank, maybe if you have some data or some things about final expense and term insurance, let's talk about that to our audience here, so that way they can have kind of like a perspective of what we're talking about.
Yes, and John, thank you. So long story short, final expense, just to put in perspective, is to pay for burial and funeral cost. And according to the National Funeral Directors Association, it shows that the families paid an average of $8,000 for a funeral with burial in 2019.
Wow.
And if you want to go with a cremation, the average cost was about $5,000. But this have evolved and gone up over time. In 2021, right now is the average cost for burial, I think, is about $10,000, and then for cremation is about $5,000 to $8,000, depending on what type of service you want to go with.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, and just keep in mind that those averages that I just give you guys it doesn't include a cost of a vault, opening or closing of the ground, or the cost of a headstone, which can easily tack thousands onto your funeral bill.
Yeah, it's true. My dad works in the industry, and just a headstone alone probably costs you $2,000-$3,000.
Wow.
Right? And then to get the casket, depending on the type of casket you want,
yes,
it could be like $800 to $3,000, even can go up to $10,000, depending on how nice of a casket you want.
And then the type of service.
The services, maybe 1 day service, 2 day. Right now with COVID, they're not even doing 2 day services anymore. I think most places are just doing 1 day service. And so those costs can be very costly. What Frank is saying is that just the basic, like put you in the casket and go, or cremate you, and that's the bare minimum, right? An average funeral that I usually see, all the costs rolled together, is about $15,000, right? Because why? When you pass away, you want to make sure that your family member has like a nice celebration. You want to send them off right, whatnot. And so sometimes people may come out of pocket a lot more than what they expect because maybe they love their parents and they want to do more, right? Some people, they just don't have the funds, and sometimes they just do the bare minimum because they don't have money, right? And the funeral home wants their money right away, right? And if you use regular life insurance, it could take up to 30 days or more for them to pay out. That means that you got to take money out of your own pockets, your credit cards, your savings, to pay for these expenses. So having a funeral expense life insurance can really help take care of those costs while you're waiting for maybe the regular policy to pay out.
Yes.
Hello, Uncle Tan. Thank you for joining us.
And just in case you guys are wondering about the detailed cost of a burial process, I put in the comment section the details for you guys, like a breakdown of all the prices for service fee, for metal casket, and this is on top of the average price that I give you guys at the end, at the beginning of the show. So whatever price I give you guys, like 5,000, 8,000, that's on top of these breakdowns right here. Yeah. So like John said, the average you're looking at could be easily from $15,000 to $20,000.
Wow, that's pretty expensive, Frank. So with these final expenses, can you tell us what the different types are, or is there just one type, or how does someone go about paying for something like this?
Okay, so for final expense, even though it serves the same purpose, there are multiple ways you can go about this. If you, I think there's two major types in general, where you just want to do like a 10 pay versus you keep paying the same amount for the rest of your life until you pass away. So with the 10 pay is that they take the average of the premiums, they calculate it, and then they divide it by 10 years. And then you would pay a fixed amount of premium every month for 10 years. And then after 10 years, you stop paying. You don't have to worry about final expense insurance anymore. So you just keep living your life, have a good life, and then the moment that God takes you home, then the final expense insurance kicks in and it pays for your costs. That's one type where you only pay in 10 years. The other way is that it could be cheaper in terms of monthly premiums, but what you do is you pay on a monthly basis from the moment you buy it until the moment you pass away.
Got it.
So it's cheaper in terms of monthly premiums, but if you live a life of longevity, you could be looking at a much more of a a total premiums.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like what you're saying is that you got two options when you're choosing the plan, is that you either pay 10 years or you pay for life,
yes.
Right? The 10 years is that you're going to pay a higher premium, but after 10 years you don't have to worry about paying anymore.
Yes.
So essentially you could pay less than what you're supposed to pay.
Yes.
If you do the life pay, your monthly premiums are lower, but the risk is that if you live long, you end up paying more.
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of like a gamble, right? It's insurance. You don't know if you think that you're sick or maybe you pass away sooner than later, and then you pay the life pay, it means that the premiums you pay monthly will be much lower, but over time, if you live too long, you may pay more,
yes.
Right? So give or take. For me, with my final expense, I choose 10 pay because I got a long ways to go. And so I just want to know that when I pay for it, I just want to just pay it off in 10 years and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yes.
Right? It's kind of like prepaying your funeral expense.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about it. In the short term, if you passed away unexpectedly, then of course, the earlier you pass away, the more profitable it is, or return on investment is higher because you passed away earlier. But nobody wants to say they're going to pass away earlier, but that's why we buy insurance, just for the rainy day or
yes.
the emergency, right?
Yes. Well, John, I have one question for you.
Sure.
I've been talking to our clients about final expense,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes people don't see the benefits of having it, because what I get back in response was that, hey, I already have a term insurance or a permanent insurance, so the payout for those policies should be more than enough to cover for my burial costs. So I don't see why I should get a final expense on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have like a response to that?
Yeah, so a lot of times with final expense policies, there are some companies out there that will offer a very quick payout,
mm-hmm.
right? And so that way that you can get your money right away,
okay.
rather than waiting until like they verify your death certificate and all that jazz, and then you end up having to come out of pocket first anyways, and then you're waiting for the insurance company to get their money back, right?
Okay.
Some companies out there, they offer you additional benefit where you can get paid right away really fast,
mm-hmm.
okay? There are some companies that even permanent policies that have the final expense rolled into there, and they let you take a portion out earlier so that you can pay for your expenses. So say, for example, your permanent policy is $250,000, but you want your final expense to be $25,000. So in case you pass away, of that $250,000, they're going to pay $25,000 out very quickly for you. So that way you can take care of your funeral expenses, and then the other $225,000 they're going to pay out later when they verify. So that's one way you could do it. Those are newer policies that just came out. There are some just standalone final expense policies where it's just a small amount and they pay out quickly so that you can take care of your funeral expenses. Some final expense companies offer like free benefits such as like a will
mm-hmm.
included in there. It's like a basic will. And a will could cost you like $500 to $800 from a lawyer, right? And
yes.
if you buy your life insurance and it comes with a free will, man, you're saving money. You're buying life insurance to protect yourself on something that you already need. And on top of that, you get a free will, right?
Wow.
So there's a lot of companies out there that offer a lot of different programs. And so it just really depends on your situation.
Yes.
Right? Frank, can you tell us, like, with final expense, can we buy like a lot of life insurance, or what's the limits generally? And what about the medical requirements? Can you tell
so the
them
one
more
thing
about that?
I like about final expense is that, like we said at the beginning of the show, is very affordable because the whole purpose is to pay for burial costs and the final expenses costs. So the limit for coverages for final expense, I think it varies from $2,000 to $50,000 or $40,000. Sorry, $40,000. So because the coverage is not a lot, the premiums are very affordable, and people up to age 80 can still buy a type of final expense policy.
Wow.
And the one thing that I love about this is that you get approved really, really quick, and you don't have to even undergo for medicals or any examination.
Can you give some example, like how fast?
Yes, actually, I just did one application for our cameraman, his wife. He was concerning about the burial cost for his wife in the future. So we went ahead and we submitted application for him, and in 2 hours, his wife got approved.
Wow, that's
in 2
really
hours.
Fast. That is fast.
Yes.
Awesome. So imagine, a lot of people are concerned now with COVID, with everything going on. Like, what if something happens, out of the blue, and where am I going to come up with all this money to pay for these funeral expenses,
yes.
right? And so to be able to get approved within 24 hours or less than 24 hours, that's like not unheard of, right? Most of the time we put in life insurance, it could take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks for them to get approved. They got to go take a blood and urine sample, and it takes a lot of time,
They
right?
take doctor's medical records.
The doctor, medical, and now all the doctors are super busy, and they don't want to send the medical records out. And so it could hold up the process, and having something like this that can approve so quickly, and it's just like low hassle for people and low cost, that's very beneficial.
And I did 10 pay. So they only have to pay for 10 years, and they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Do you have an example of like what the average cost may be like for a final expense policy in the United States right now, like just overall?
Overall, on the top of my head, the average cost right now, I think it ranges from $100 to $200, but it could be less depending on your age. So from my own experience, I just did a client who is in her 60. And she bought a final expense for around $10,000, and her premium was about $60. But that's just like the bare minimum because she bought $10,000. You can always buy more depending on the type of service you want for your own funeral. When you think about it, you can go from $10,000, like I said, to $40,000. So the premium is gonna go up depending on the type of coverage that you want. Maybe you want more than that. You want to have a nice service. Hey, and you think, hey, 10,000 might not be enough, because my last day, I want to make it my big day, and I want people to pay attention to me, and I'm the center of everything on that day. So I want to have a really, really nice service. So maybe I need like 25,000, 30,000. So the premium is gonna go up based on that.
Right.
But the average right now from 100 to 200.
Okay. Yeah, I think with final expense is nice because think of it this way, like Frank said. When you pass away, you want people to, of course they're going to mourn, but you want them to celebrate your life, right? And then when that happens, you want to pay for the party, right? And so if you have the final expense policy, it take care of your funeral, take care of the food, take care of the drinks, take care of everything for your family so that all they can focus on is just either they're praying for you to carry you on to the next life, whatever they need to do, they can focus on just mourning you and they don't have to worry about the financial implications, the financial burden left behind when you pass away. So, and the number one reason people buy life insurance is for final expense.
Correct.
And so that's why they design these special policies so that one, it's very cheap and affordable. If you're young, you're talking about less than $100 for sure.
Yes.
Right? Frank's saying average 1 to 2 because...
I'm sorry, let me correct myself. That was for 10 pay.
Yeah. for a 10 pay means that you're paying double the premium so
Yeah.
that you can pay it off early. But if you don't want to do a 10 pay premium,
It's much
it's
lower.
half, right?
Yeah.
And also, most people that buy final expense they're much older because they didn't think about life insurance before, and now they're like, oh, I need something, you know, but they're in their 50s and 60s and they want to buy something. And it can be very affordable, and especially when you're in your 50s, 60s, your health is not what it used to be, and so obtaining these policies is much easier, right? I have clients that are controlled diabetes, meaning that they take medicine for their diabetes, and they get a preferred rating for their final expense.
Wow.
Right? So it is possible to get a good rating for your final expense, and you have a good policy. You don't have to worry about it anymore, right? You just get a check mark off, done, and it's there.
So out of all the Americans who are buying life insurance right now, and John, 84% of life insurance policy holders cite final expenses as a reason for buying life insurance. So
Wow.
just like you said, number one reason, 84% of those people buy life insurance because they want that final expense.
Yeah, you just don't want to leave that burden behind to your family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I hope that do you have anything else to add to final expense, Frank? It's pretty straightforward, but
It's
I
pretty
think
straightforward.
we shared some good information about that. We do have some videos about final expense. Let me pull those up for you guys, and then that way you guys can take a look at it. And then if you forget what we're talking about today, you have it. Let me see here. Where is the final expense?
John, I just remembered something on the top of my head. I
Yes.
think something you told me before. Final expense, I think it does generate some sort of cash values. Is that true?
So final expense, you're gonna have some cash value, but it's there. If, say, for example, you quit the policy and you don't want it anymore, there will be some cash value that could accrue over time that you could get back if you cancel the policy.
Okay.
Right? Now, of course, I don't know how much you could take out of these final expense policies. They're not really made for taking money out. It's basically you're using it for the final expense. But they do have cash value. It is a permanent policy. So there is cash value in these policies. They're just not they're not made to generate extra cash interest in there, right? Not like another permanent policy that can earn more interest.
Yes.
It's not made for that purpose.
And also because I just did a claim recently for a client who his mom sadly passed away. The one thing that I just found out is that based on when they pay you, maybe not at the moment, not right away, maybe 1 month or 2 months later, but when they pay you on top of the promised specified amount, you also get paid a small amount of interest.
Correct.
Based on the days that were lapsed.
So that's talking about claims processing. Basically, when you file the claim for your final expense, and depending on what type of final expense you're purchasing, once they pay it out, they pay based on the date of your death, right? So from the date of your death to the day where they actually process everything and send you the check, if there's a time lapse between then and when they process everything, they will pay you interest on those days that you're owed. So you may receive a check that's more than what you purchased, and it's because there's interest in there. So the insurance company do pay you for their time that they're holding your money.
Yes.
Okay, so that's with the final expense. Very low type premium. Don't need to do too much medical underwriting, and you're able to get a very quick answer.
Yes.
Right, and to cover your final expenses. So let's flip the board, and then let's talk about term life insurance, Frank.
Yes.
Another affordable option for life insurance has very big benefit compared to a permanent policy. But maybe can you share with the audience a little bit about what term life insurance is?
Yes. So term life insurance, to make it easier to understand, it's just like home and auto insurance. Is when you make a contract with the insurance company, you make a promise where you pay a fixed amount of premiums for a fixed amount of time, and in return, if something would have happened to you, they pay you a big death benefit. The downside of term insurance is that it does have a time limit. Say, for example, you can go with a 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. So there's a term right there. That's why I call term insurance, because there's a time limit. So what it means is that you would have this type of term policy in 30 years, for example, and you pay a fixed amount of premiums, and depending on how much you want to get for your death benefit, the premiums is pretty affordable. And in those 3 years, if something happens to you, they pay that amount. But if renew it, but the rate is gonna go up because now you're a lot older. So that's like term insurance in a nutshell.
Okay, so it sounds like, just to recap, is the term insurance is, think about term like temporary, right? It only going to last you X number of years following the contract. If you pass away, though, within that time frame, they're going to pay you the benefit.
Yes.
Right. Now, do term policies have like living benefits too, like permanent policies, Frank?
I think they do now. I think they just came out and is already attached to your term life insurance.
Yes, very nice. It's
so,
true.
Like John said, if something happens to you, they pay, I think, from 50 to 9%. We don't know the exact amount, but they do pay in the case of you become critically ill or like chronically ill.
Yeah, so that's very, very beneficial. Traditionally, term just pays when you pass away. Now, there are new terms out there that can pay when you pass away, pay when you get terminally ill, pay when you have critical illness, or pay when you have chronic illness. The only difference is that from the permanent policies that have like long-term care is that you don't know what you're going to get until you get sick.
Yes.
But hey, it's better than not having it at all,
yes.
right? So very, very beneficial. In my personal opinion, when you buy a term, ladies and gentlemen, you just want to find the most benefit for the cheapest amount possible. Don't go for any of those extra benefits like add-on, child, or if you want accidental
return of premium,
or you return a premium. Those are just add-ons that cost you more money,
yeah.
and that you're not getting anything back. Now, some policies may say, hey, if you pay this amount of premium after X number of years, and if you don't die, we're going to give your money back. But basically, you're paying double the premium,
yes.
so that you can get your money back later with no extra interest, right? In my personal opinion, I think just buying the cheapest term possible, and if you do want your money back, well, then why don't you take that difference in premium that you were going to pay for that return of premium and put it into like a savings investment account, an S&P 500 or something like that, and wait 20 years and see what does better. Most likely, according to the 30-year history on the S&P, is probably going to do better than what the insurance company return your premium with no interest.
That makes more sense.
Now, there's no guarantees when you put it into the S&P, but tracking the 30-year history on the S&P 500, I think you're going to do okay.
Yes.
Right. So it's just an idea, right? When you're buying insurance, when you're talking about term, you want to find the cheapest premium for the most benefit you can get.
Yes.
Now, Frank, if I have this policy, say, can I convert it to a permanent policy, and what's the benefit of conversion?
You can, yes, you can, because I think also depend on the companies, but generally speaking, when you buy a term insurance, you do have the option to convert to something more permanent down the road. If you have a better job, you make better income now, and you want something that's gonna last you for your whole life, and you don't want to wait like 3 years later and then your rate's gonna go up. You want to lock the rate right now, reverse your health, and then once you become better financially, I would convert. But you do have the option.
So when I convert, do I have to do medical again?
You don't. That's the beauty of it, because
Nice.
because the whole point of buying a term, besides death benefit, is to also to reserve your health. So if later down the road you become sick for some reason, you still have that option to convert it without having to go for another medical.
Now, to give you some perspective of the term life insurance, why people buy term, is that the term will give you 10 to 15 times more benefit than if you were to buy a permanent policy, right? Just to give you a perspective on my own personal policy that I just got approved for, okay, $1 million permanent policy at the best rating for a 38-year-old male, non-smoking, is about $1,000 a month, right? Permanent policy. But on the reverse side, a 30-year term for $1 million, same amount, a term only costs $89.
Wow, I do have a chart right here. I
Oh,
can
you do have a chart?
paste it for the audience just to take a look at.
Yeah. So if you take a look at that, yeah, it's about 10 times the price difference,
yes.
right? My term for 30 years for $1 million only costs $89 versus a permanent policy for the same amount costs 10 times that amount, right? And that's at a very good health rating. So why would I buy a term versus a permanent policy? Well, look at the price difference, right?
Yes.
$89 versus $1,000. Way big difference for the amount of money that I put out, for the benefit I get. It's awesome, right? So if you're trying to get the best value bang for your buck, you know, and why do I buy the term? Hey, you know, I have things that are temporary. My kid's gonna hopefully grow up and finish college, don't need to go to college anymore. Hopefully my mortgage is paid off by then.
Yes.
Hopefully by then, you know, my wife and I have accrued enough assets, enough savings that in case one of us pass away, like the need for income is not as much anymore. And so that $1 million term, I may not need it anymore.
Yes.
Right? But those are like the primary reasons why people buy life insurance. And so those things, those responsibilities will go away, but the need for wealth transfer is still there. So it's say in the future, if I have extra money and I think that, hey, you know what, I have all this money, I don't need to use all of it, but I want to leave more money behind for my next generation, like my kids or my grandkids, then I can convert that policy to a permanent policy, and in that way I could leave behind more money for my family.
Yes.
Right? Because right now I may not be able to afford $2,000 for a $2 million permanent policy, right? But if I can do half and half, it may be more affordable for me. So that way you can, you know, you don't have to use the numbers like I do, but you can, you know, tailor it to your situation.
Yes.
Right? And so that way, term is still a very good option, very, very low cost, big benefit, has living benefits now, right? And is convertible to a permanent policy when you need it. And so with planning wise, you really can use, get a lot of benefit for what you need to do, right?
Yes.
Same thing for term life insurances, also used very widely in businesses as well. You know, businesses use term life insurance to protect the business in case, like, say, the business owner needed to buy the life insurance like, if they were to pass away, a key person, or maybe they're trying to do like an buy-sell agreement. We'll go more into details on that on the next live stream, next English live stream at the end of the month, because that's going to be our final segment, our final episode to honor Life Insurance Awareness Month, to talk more about how to use business life insurance. But term life insurance is used in that because, hey, you get a lot of benefit to take care of a lot of things, but it's a very low cost.
Yes.
Right? And that's the key thing. Don't think that term life insurance is no good, because a lot of times, you know, our agent or our advisor may say, hey, you know, like, don't buy a permanent policy because you want it to last your lifetime. But then you got to ask the question, when you buy that permanent policy, is it really enough to take care of your family, right? Imagine if I bought the, say, $100,000 policy and it cost me $100 a month, right? But if I had that same $100 a month and I can get $1 million policy, what do you think is going to make a bigger impact for my family? $100,000 or $1 million?
I would go with $1 million.
Right? Even if it's in the next 30 years, right? Compared to a lifetime, but a lifetime benefit, $100 for $100,000 versus $1 million, like, what does my family need more?
Yes.
Right? I think my family would do a lot better with $1 million policy for $100.
Yes.
Right? To me, that's what I think, right? Everybody may think differently, but I think that would make a bigger impact, right?
Yes.
$100,000 is nice to have, and yes, it's good that you thought about it, but, you know, did that really make a big impact on your family or not?
I think for me, it will, like, if in the future, because I do plan on getting married, and John, I do plan on I do plan on getting a house, and I think in the long run, I would want like get a term just so something happens to me, my family has something to pay off for all my debts. But in the meantime, keep working at it. Once you have like a better income and your debt actually goes down because because you pay your debt, you pay your mortgage. So fast forward 10, 15 years, maybe now you have less debts, so you could convert the term to something more permanent to take care of yourself in the future.
Yeah.
So it all depends on your own perspective.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have like three more siblings in Vietnam right now.
Okay, so then it's 3 plus your mom and your dad. So
Yes.
that's 5 people. Does your siblings have any children?
Yes. Oh God.
How many children do they have?
Total 6
6
between
total.
3 siblings. So
that's-
each sibling has 2.
So that's 10 people, right?
Yes.
So if you had
A
a
million,
$100,000 policy, right? Permanent policy is good.
Uh-huh.
Just let's just say hypothetically, right?
Uh-huh.
And you got 10 family members and you want to split 10 ways, $10,000 each person. Is that going to make a difference?
No.
But if you had $1 million policy and you cut everybody a $100,000 check,
That would make a big difference. Yes.
see? So you got to have a blend, right? Now, follow your budget, but think about, hey, when next time I go and buy life insurance, if I have a certain budget, how can I split up my life insurance needs so that I can get a bit of both? If you can, right? Now, if your budget doesn't allow you to get both, then try to go with what gives you the most value, and you could always convert it later.
Yes.
Right? And your agent and your advisor should always be there for you, in the long term, because it's a long-term relationship, right? So that when you're ready to get to the next step of permanent policy, then you can step into that,
Yes.
right? It's not like, hey, I'm going to sell you this life insurance today, a permanent one, and I'm done with you, and I don't have to talk to you ever again, right? That's not how it should work, right? It should be that you buy the insurance, you do the financial planning, and it's an ongoing process.
Yes.
Right? And that's what we want to do here with our friends and family, our clients, is that we want to educate you, we want to help you understand more about your finances. And today we just happen to be talking about life insurance, but we want to make sure that you have a holistic approach when it comes to your planning, and so that you have the right insurances, you have the right health insurance, you have the right home insurance, auto insurance, business insurance, life insurance, right? And then you tie into your financial planning with saving for your retirement or your kids' education, right? It's a whole process, but you don't know how to do it, right? And there's so much information out there, so that's why we want to help you guys understand more, and that's why these awareness months are so important, and so that you can get more information to yourself and educate yourself and
Yes.
be a more informed client, right? Because nobody cares more about your money than you do.
Yep.
Right. So I hope that helps you guys today. Our
Any
streams
questions?
we're a little quick on our live stream today because the topic that we talk about is very straightforward. We talked about it many times, but it is the most affordable form of life insurance.
Yes.
Final expense and term
Term.
life insurance.
Yes.
So there are term life insurances out there that you can apply without a medical too.
Oh.
So be aware of that. If you don't want to take a medical for some reason, they're still going to check your medical records, and if they feel deemed necessary to do a medical on you, they will. But there are some out there that may waive the medical records, medical examination, depending on your health, right? So don't be afraid to apply. Apply as soon as you can, so that way you can get the insurance while you're still healthy, and then you can secure that and start protecting your family right away.
Yes.
Okay, Frank, you have any other comments or anything else that you want to share?
I think I couldn't have put it better, and John, like everything that you just said. So I think for me, that's a good closing right there.
Okay, Frank, when's the best time to buy life insurance?
Dang, before you die, man.
Before you die, but when do we know when we die?
I do not know. I do, unless I plan on committing suicide, which I don't know.
See, so the best time to buy life insurance, my mentor said, was one day before you die.
Yes.
But the issue is that we don't know when that day is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to plan ahead.
Yes.
right? And planning ahead is going to be cheaper for you. It's going to cost you less money. And while you're still healthy, get it done.
Yes, and I know it's a sensitive topic to think about when you're gonna die, but you have to think about it because you don't want to leave a financial burden behind for your family members. So it's better to think about now rather than later down the road, because it's only gonna get more expensive because you're only getting older. So that's something to keep in mind.
Okay, sounds good. So that's it for today. It's for the Paramic Hour. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. We will see you on Tuesday for our Vietnamese version of this show. But Thursdays will be our English version. Next week, tune in. Make sure you follow our Facebook page so you get the update. But we will be doing the live stream next Thursday on our final segment in Life Insurance Awareness Month on business life insurance. So a lot of you business owners out there, self-employed people out there, if you're looking for more ways to protect yourself or protect your business and how to use life insurance to do that, tune in, and so that you can learn a lot of good information, and then that way you can take it back to your business and see how you can apply it there.
Yes.
Right? So thank you guys again so much for joining
Thank
the
you.
Paramic Hour. This is Jonathan.
This is Frank.
And we're out.